Hi, this is Jen Jones, and today I want to talk to you about how to use Knitr with RStudio and R to create some really nice looking presentation quality Word or PDF or HTML documentation of your work in R. R is cool, but if you don't have a way to present the work that you've done in it, then it's not really very helpful. You can do a lot of work but not have any way to show that to people. So Knitr is a great way to actually produce nice, clean, pretty reports that you can then share with others based on the work that you've done. So to get started, you're going to load RStudio and the Knitr package, and then you're going to go up and create. I started by creating a new project, and I'll upload both the project and the RMD file, the R Markdown file that was created that produces these documents. So you're going to go New File and R Markdown to create this. This was actually the hardest part of this project for me, was figuring out where exactly you do it, because I was trying to create a script file and that doesn't work. What you need to do is create an R Markdown file. So this is an R Markdown file. When you create a new one, it's going to ask you for the title, and you'll be listed as the author, and it'll give you the date that you created the document, and then it'll also show you the type of output. And there's three different things you can do here. You can knit HTML pages, you can knit a PDF document, or a Word document. I'll remind you again in a little while, if you're going to do PDF or Word, then you need to have, for the PDF documents, you're going to need to have something called Pandocs loaded on your computer. And if you're going to do Word, you're going to obviously need to have Word on your computer. So let's just take a look at what this does. This is the text that produces a document, and we're going to look at the three different types of documents. So let's first take a look at PDF. You can see here is the title, the name and the date that it was produced. And then the first thing I'm going to show you is that to put in text, it's real simple. You just type in the script what you want, and the key when you're doing that is to make sure that you end new lines, new paragraphs with 2 spaces rather than 1. If you end a line with just 1 space, then it's going to run all the text together. So let's take a look right here. Here's an example. In this example, to start a new body paragraph, you just end a line with 2 spaces. Now this line right here actually only has 1 space. There's not 2 spaces there. This one actually has 2 spaces. So let's take a look at what that does in the document itself. Here you can see the separate line to start a new body paragraph. You just end a line with 2 spaces. Well, that only had 1 space. There's only 1 space right there. So the next line gets continued on the same line as that one. This one right here actually had 2 spaces after it, and it starts a new body paragraph. Another cool thing you can do is you can insert block quotes. If you have a quote or something like that, you want to actually create a separate formatting for that. All you do is insert a greater than character and then the block quote text. And this is the way it looks in the PDF document. It inserts it right there. If you can't find anything nice to say, you're not trying hard enough. My hero, Kid President. I actually like the way it looks in the HTML document. Now you'll be able to see as we look at each of these examples that it's not going to create exactly the same document in HTML, PDF, and Word. They're going to look a little bit different. In the HTML document, it's going to put this little block quote character here and then change the formatting. I like this one the best. I actually like overall the HTML formatting the best. That may not be what you need to produce. In Word, it looks like this. In Word, it changes the formatting but doesn't actually do any indenting. So I wanted you to see the examples. If you want to do headers, you actually just put in your header text like this, and you put the number of hashtags in for the level of header that you're looking for. So if you have 1 hashtag, that's a level 1 header. If you have 2 hashtags, a level 2 header. We're going to come down here and look at the grocery list in a minute, and that's 3 hashtags, that's a level 3 header. So let's take a look at what those look like in the document. Here's Word, here's a level 1 header, a level 2 header, and a level 3 header. Let's see what it looks like in the PDF. You can see up here, here's the first header with the 1 hashtag, level 2 with a 2, and then here's the third header right there. And then finally, let's look at the HTML document. So here is header 1, header 2, header 3. Lists are really simple. You just start the list, you put an asterisk next to the list item, the main list item, and then if you want sub items, you put the plus sign and those sub list items underneath it. One of the things I found, and it wasn't in the documentation, was that I actually had to put in 5 spaces before I did the plus, or it didn't actually do the indentation. So you can see here's the grocery list and the way that it looks. Very simple to create. Another thing you can do is create columns, and I thought this was pretty neat. You just use the pipe symbol right here. On my computer it's the one that's right above the backslash, and then you use dashes, and that's how you separate your columns and rows. So here you don't really even have to line up the text. You just have to put the pipe between where you want the column breaks to fit. So here's an example of the column. Note I've got these pipe symbols here and a pipe symbol over here, and let's see what it creates. There you go. Here's the column right there. It's smart enough to line them up. It knows that those pipe marks should line up in that column text, so it knows what it's doing. But here's the really important part, and this is why you would use Knitr. You really want to insert R chunks in your code so that people can tell what it is that you're doing with your R documents. You can include an R chunk either just by typing 3 tick marks, 3 of these little back tick marks, and then R in parentheses, or you can go up here and say insert a chunk, and it will insert a chunk for you. Then all you do is between the tick marks, you start the tick marks here, you end the tick marks below when your code is finished, and then you put in the example. I'm using, for this example, I just used a standard data set that was already loaded when you load R. It's the mtcars data set. And here are the commands I set to run. I wanted to run head so I could see what the data set looked like. Ran a summary, I did the mean and the median, and then I did a sort by miles per gallon decreasing. So let's see what that does when you get to that R chunk in the code. When you knit the file, here's all your text, and then you start executing those documents. Right here, you're going to execute the R command head, and then it produces these results right here. The summary command produces these results, and it sends it directly to the document that's created. You can see mean, median, and then here's that sort order with the miles per gallon decreasing. You can also use other packages when you're presenting your information. And the thing I really want you to notice is here, sometimes you might want your R code to show up, sometimes you might not. Sometimes you might want to just produce the results in the document. If you don't really care about outputting the code itself, you can output just the results of the code. And to do that, you put in R, comma, and then you set echo equal to false. When you set echo equal to false, it's just going to send the results and not the code itself. So here we had to load ggplot so that we could produce a scatter plot, and this is what it looks like. There you go. Note that you don't see that little bar that had the R code in it. You just get the results of the chart right there. So echo equals false is a good thing to remember as you're producing these reports. Another thing that I wanted to tell you about was to be sure to remember that if you want to create PDF files, you're going to have to download something called Pandocs. It's another package that you'll have to install to do that. I didn't do it at first, but I did load it later. It's very simple to install, and it works very seamlessly. All you have to do is just say knit PDF, and once you've got Pandocs loaded, it will actually create a PDF for you. You can also put links in your document, and to do that, you just enclose the link text with brackets, and then put the link after it in parentheses. And let's take a look at this document over here, and you can see what that did. Here's the link text, and you can see that it built a hyperlink into the document. I used our Markdown documentation, so I put a link in here for you so you can go directly to it. This is a really super helpful web page, and I recommend using it when you're trying to create a presentation. I also put this ggplot I used to help create the plot that went into the document itself. So I found this page really helpful too. So the links are just built in directly into the document. And someday when I get really good at this, I'm going to try using the Tufty handouts package. You guys remember Tufty and his visual expertise. If you load that package, then apparently you can actually have it default things like this, which use his default formats and plotting and all that kind of stuff. I have not done that, but one of these days I think I will. So yes, I chose Knitr because I'm a knitter. But once I got into it, it was really cool to see how easy it was to produce some really, publication level documents uh, built right into your syntax and save it as part of the entire project. So I hope you found this helpful. Thanks.